Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John White. I'm from PageMajik, where I head up sales and marketing. We're a solutions business. We've built an artificial intelligence engine with a number of supporting applications which embed artificial intelligence in the editorial and production workflow. I'm going to talk a little bit at the moment, in the first instance, about other trends. We've heard some of them. I'm going to touch on some others. Media, for example, AI is being used quite extensively to automate, formulate business and sports reporting and sifting through social media to verify potential news leads. In advertising, a number of ways are being explored right now to tailor messaging based on reader or user behavior, and that's all AI based. If we look at entertainment, recommending other films, TV, music based on past use, that has an element of AI to it as well. And in medical, we heard earlier about analysing complex health data and helping doctors make important decisions. That's very prevalent right now. In fact, we came up with, I was talking to someone in the break, and we were talking about the Dutch traffic system, and they have a big AI engine behind that right now, which controls traffic flow in a country which obviously has a lot of traffic on the road in a very, very small area, and it's doing a lot better than the old system. In terms of a snapshot of the challenges that we see in academic publishing right now, it's a rapidly changing environment because of technology and policies around the publication of research. There's digital transformation going on, rapid transformation to digitally orientated workflows and digital value chain. There are huge volumes of open access content, and the big challenge around that is how to measure the quality of it and manage the discovery of it. In terms of the networked economy, customers in all markets now are beginning to define the market, and the market's becoming more fragmented, and we're seeing that beginning to happen. Turnover and profitability from older business models is more difficult to secure, and all-important data is becoming key to the success in open academic publishing right now throughout the whole life cycle. So in terms of the opportunities, there's an appearance now of artificial intelligence-based solutions for the editorial and production workflow. I use the words editorial and production because I think the two strands will actually become closer together as a result of the implementation of artificial intelligence over the next few years. Machines, in effect, can do the heavy lifting in the workflow, creating cost reduction, time reduction, and greater efficiency. It's been proven that machines are actually much better at manual tasks than human beings are. And so in the first instance, it's many of the manual tasks in the editorial workflow that artificial intelligence can improve. Machines are far more accurate at costly, repetitive tasks. So I thought I'd use a weather analogy. As you see, we've got clouds and clouds of costs, a simplified workflow with some boxes that I'm going to talk about. And at the moment, there are costs all the way through that workflow. These are costs that are generated by human intervention. If we look at ingestion, so the process of taking an article or a manuscript actually into a workflow is a very, very costly process right now. The peer review is costly and lengthy, and the big question comes up as to, well, what do we send off for peer review? Because there's only a finite amount of budget to spend on the peer review process. I've jumbled prepress into one area, and that includes all the actual mechanicals behind taking a completely raw Word document or a PDF or a tech file and actually making that into a sellable product. So it's been peer reviewed if it's a journal article, but it's actually been professionally prepared. It's been styled, it's been structured, it's probably been converted to XHTML and XML, and it's gone through a very, very thorough copy editing process. There are permissions that are involved in images. It's a very, very costly process and takes quite a long time. There's digital conversion. I've put in brackets, if not XML or XHTML first, because a lot of smart companies are going straight to XML or HTML now, XHTML, which makes the whole editorial production process a lot quicker, smoother and simpler. And then there's the physical and digital distribution costs. And as I said, throughout that whole process, physical and digital distribution has been touched by AI, has been for a little while, and there's some very, very good complex distribution systems in place now for digital, which has lowered costs. But we have traditionally a very, very long workflow, anything up to 2 years. I think at a previous STM meeting, someone said that it was around about 13 or 14 months as an average, and it can be as quick as 6 months. So that's really where we are right now without the introduction of AI. I'm going to start looking at each of those areas and see what can actually be done to improve the current workflow and reduce costs and increase efficiency. So there are solutions out there now which allow the automatic ingestion of Word, PDF and text files. These are completely unstructured, and an engine can take them in and completely structure them to any schema that's set by that particular content provider, whether it's a university with a prepress server at one end or whether it's a large multinational company. A step before that, some companies in some sectors, it hasn't fully touched academic yet, but are looking at quite advanced authoring systems. So in fact, the content is actually pulled through from the authoring stage in a very, very highly structured and stylized way. Articles, though, can be completely automatically converted into fully tagged XML and XHTML files and written to a content management system from a totally raw Word document. And that process takes between 6 and 10 minutes now, where previously there was a lot of human intervention. There's automatic creation of rich metadata can occur as a result of this right at the very beginning, and artificial intelligence can actually handle that. And lots and lots of article and manuscript metrics and data, which obviously are going to feed into overall discovery. If we look at the next section, there's going to be more detail on this, I think, from another panel member in terms of peer review. But through submission and through what's actually pulled out of the content that's submitted at the submission stage, it's possible to produce really detailed metrics and analysis of subject matter. This, in effect, can create pre-peer review article scoring, because, again, if you have, particularly in open access, really large quantities and volume of articles coming through, how to actually work out the ones that are worth spending valuable peer review budget on is the big challenge. And again, AI can do that by actually sifting through all those articles and checking things like author credentials, checking citation, spread and quality, checking previously published articles, and salient information which can start creating some sort of score for that article, something that previously human beings would have found very, very difficult to do. Again, pre-peer review, you can format, structure, style an article, and pull all the data out. And things like citations and web links can be automatically checked, as can images. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. The important part of this process, I think, is that, again, large amounts of data can be created and written to metadata files, which is going to be really, really important in terms of discovery moving forward. Moving on to pre-press, this is an area that a lot of medium and large businesses, but more and more small as well, small businesses outsource, and I think this is an area that is going to be very, very affected. I've got a bright sun here coming from behind the clouds, because I think there'll be a huge cost reduction and efficiency created by AI over the next few years. Businesses who are still using manual labour, I think, are going to start moving towards artificial intelligence, where a lot of repetitive tasks that human beings are carrying out right now around checking, for example, are simply going to be carried out by human beings. There's the potential now for, and it's possible to automatically proof, so to take a Word document unstructured through to a proof in around about a 10-12 minute a 10, 12-minute period of time, and then actually to put in place AI-enabled proofing, which allows corrections to be made straight into XML or XHTML and then re-uploaded, and those corrections are ingested right the way through into the final layout of that file. There's the possibility now to create automatically permissions files from any content that's coming in, and we're a very, very short way away from being able to take a Word document or a PDF and pull that through in terms of ingestion, do all the analysis that I've already spoken about, but also pull all the images out and try and get where there are no rights information, to try and make matches against either internal or external databases via API and see if there is any permission around those images where it's not available. At the same time, AI can create really, really detailed metadata for images, and AI can also take bad quality images or difficult to make perfect images and make them perfect. Again, a very, very simple process where a machine saves a lot of time and effort compared to the human process. It's particularly relevant in the area of, say, for example, medical imaging. If you have a document which is very, very full of medical diagnostic images, as an example, getting those all so that they're uniform throughout that, it might be an article, it might be a book, is an incredibly difficult and long-winded process, and AI can do that very, very fast. So you could take several thousand images, push them through an AI engine, and they all come out ready for publication at the end of it. And multiple outputs, because we're going CMS first in the workflow, it's going to be possible at a touch of a button to just create multiple outputs, and many outputs are available right now. Looking at digital conversion, again, this is an area where a lot of money is being spent. I think this will be transformed rapidly over the next 3 years as many move to digital-first content setups and bypassing the need for digital conversion. So we have a very bright sun here. I think as the entire publishing industry moves to XHTML and XML first, digital conversion becomes less of an issue, and that will be carried out by artificial intelligence. I think that content will be produced once, and writing to CMS first allows for any format to be reproduced. So again, it's a very, very important step forward for us as a publishing sector. And finally, if we look at physical and digital distribution, again, the sun is shining, the reign of costs is slowing down, because we're quickly moving towards automatic processes which distribute content into many channels simultaneously in many different formats. Physical distribution will be aided by intelligent warehousing and distribution systems. And this is all coming about because the networked economy is now beginning to drive more and more distribution decisions that companies are making. So, as I said, we're looking at brighter times. If we look at the weather forecast right now, a lot of the thunderstorms have disappeared. We've got some sun shining, but the reality is we are actually at a stage right now where a raw Word document or PDF or TeX file can be pulled through automatically into content management, with many of the mechanicals around that file actually carried out. And I think we're moving rapidly towards an overall workflow which is going to radically decrease in terms of time, and usability and discoverability are going to be aided by AI. So radical changes afoot in the workflow, with changing business models and emphasis on data, all driven by the networked economy. I think the publishing sector as a whole, we haven't really fully considered the implications of the networked economy. But the reality is, as individual people in this room, we go home and we interact with Netflix models and other internet models such as Spotify, and there's a lot of free content out there. And I believe that the networked economy is now beginning to put pressure on the publishing sector, and our models will begin to change quite rapidly. Within the academic sector, open is going to be prevalent. We need to increase the speed to market of our academic content, whether it's open or not. And again, AI is going to be the enabler of that. And specific tools to remove tasks which are currently carried out by manual intervention, which is a very long-winded process and is incredibly costly. Again, these are going to become more prevalent now across the industry, ensuring the future success of scientific publishing. Thanks very much. As I said, I work for PageMajik. We've got an AI-based solution and a number of applications which embeds AI in the publishing workflow. Thank you.